Hi, this is Matt from tracyandmatt.co.uk, and here we are with the ZTE Grand X. We're going to do a quick unboxing video for you and take a look at what we've got inside and take a look at the handset itself. So on top we have the handset, this is the Grand X, which we will come back to in just a moment. Also in the box, in terms of accessories, we have the quick start guide and the warranty card. The quick start guide is very thin and very straightforward. It seems to cover only the basics, including installing battery, SIM card, memory card and that kind of stuff. Have a USB to micro USB sync charge cable, nothing unusual about that. Have then the charger, obviously the UK 3-pin plug, which has a USB socket on the top, charging, and then finally we have a wired headset. Just go ahead and open, just take a look at that. So it's a 4-pole 3.5mm jack on one end, and length of cable with a very simple push button and inline microphone, and then the headphones themselves, which are quite small actually and very lightweight. As with all of the handsets I think we pretty much review, I'm sure that anybody who wants to listen to a great deal of music will want to use their own headphones. So looking at the Grand X itself, let's start at the top. We have the loudspeaker. On either side we have, I don't know if you can make that out, we've got the ambient light and proximity sensors, and then a forward facing camera, which I believe is only VGA resolution. That's for video conferencing, that kind of stuff, and Skype. Display is a 4.3 inch display. It's 540 by 960 pixels, which is fairly unusual. So that's a 4.3 inch display. The resolution is a little bit unusual. I mean, a couple of handsets have this 540 960 resolution, but it isn't particularly common. Capacitive touchscreen, as you would expect, and below that we have 4 capacitive touch buttons, so menu, home, back and search buttons, fairly discreet there at the bottom. If you mount to the left hand side, we've got up and down volume control and the micro USB charge connector, or sync and charge. On the bottom, a small hole there, which is the microphone, and a cutout on the side which allows us to remove the back cover, which we'll do so in a moment. Really nothing at all to see on the right hand side, really quite discreet, and it's pretty thin there, as you can see. Top shows us, or has the power button there, and then the headset connector, or headphone connector, just on that side as well. That's a 3.5mm connector, again allowing us to use any headphones, including the wired headset that comes with it. Another hole there on the side, which I believe is actually the secondary microphone for noise cancelling and that kind of stuff. On the back, an 8-megapixel autofocus camera and flash. The camera there will support 1080p video recording as well. And then 2 little cutouts at the bottom, which are for the loudspeaker. If I just pop the back cover off, take a look inside. This one I have here has been provided to me with a Virgin SIM card, and battery here, which was already in place, is a 1600 mAh, which is a fairly reasonable capacity, quite a large battery capacity for the device. And then we have the memory card slot there for a up to 32 gig micro SDHC memory cards, just on the side. And the back cover, let's just pop back on like so. It's quite a thin plastic back cover, but when it's in place it's fairly secure. Let me just power up, and while I do so, let's just run down the rest of the specification. Quad band for GSM, dual band for 3G HSDPA. It's going to work most countries when you're taking it abroad. Dimensions: 127mm from top to bottom, 65mm wide, and just a fraction under 10mm thick. It's actually 9.9mm thick. It does seem quite slim. There we go. It does seem quite slim. I think the slenderness is accentuated by the fact that it's a fairly large slab, so it does seem quite thin. And it's also very light, only 110 grams. Again, because of its size, it does feel quite lightweight in the hand, which is a very good thing. 540 by 960 pixel display we've already mentioned. Micro SD cards up to 32 gig, and built-in storage 4 gig of built-in storage and 1 gig of RAM. HSDPA and Wi-Fi supporting 802.11b G&N standards, Wi-Fi Direct, DLNA and Wi-Fi hotspot modes. Bluetooth 2.1 with A2DP and EDR support. And as I say, the 8 megapixel autofocus camera on the back, 1080p video recording mode supported, and geotagging thanks to the built-in assisted GPS. The Android OS on here is 4.0 ice cream sandwich, which we'll take a look at in just a moment. Finally, the chipset. It's Tegra 2 chipset, dual core 1.2 GHz processor, and ULP GeForce GPU as well. And we have ambient light, proximity sensors, gyros, and all that kind of stuff that you, I guess, is come to sort of be the norm in terms of these handsets. So, with all that run down, let's take a look then at the user interface. And first of all, well, it's fairly bland at the beginning, which is well, I think is a benefit. I do prefer sort of like the more vanilla approach to the user interface. So there we go. We start here. We've got the Google search and voice search, Maps, YouTube, and Twitter. At the bottom, you have phone, contacts, the launcher there that would see all the applications are installed, chat, and Facebook. If I push the middle button, in fact, what I'm going to do first of all, let's see if we can turn this backlight brightness up, because it isn't very bright at all. So let's go into system settings. Wi-Fi is on already, so we're going to go into display and brightness, and let's turn that. There we go. It was at minimum, so let's turn it up to maximum. That's much better. I can actually see what I'm doing now. So let's come back out of there. And we can swipe across. You can see the things that we've already got installed here. There's kind of a few things here. Angry Birds Space on there, Riptide, HN 2001, 2011, Big Top, and Big Top 2 times actually. Gallery settings, Play Store, and Tegra Zone. Got blank page, and if we come back the other way, we've got power controls there. We can turn on Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and location, synchronization, and memory card. And oh, there we go. Something there for brightness as well. There we go. Turn that back to maximum brightness. And another blank page. So we can do a lot of customization. There's plenty of room to add widgets and all that kind of stuff. Galleries, light wallpaper, and so on. Oh, actually, we can turn 0 images available. Okay, never mind. Pushing the middle button, we can see everything that we've got installed there. So all of our apps, we've got AccuWeather there, Angry Space, Dolby Mobile Control Panel. Evernote is there installed, Facetones, Full Share. Then we have Google Plus. Most of this stuff is pretty straightforward. There's a Riptide GP, some movies there, Tegra Zone, Twitter. It's all pretty straightforward and standard stuff, including Microsoft Office and YouTube. Coming back over here, we're going to have a look at widgets. And in terms of the widgets we've got some weather, analog clocks, bookmarks, direct dials, calendars, Evernote and Facebook, Google Books, Latitude, Twitter. There we go. We've got a couple of pages there of widgets that we could take a look at. Coming back out of here, I will go back into settings once again, and let's go into nope, don't want to go there. Wi-Fi, and we'll connect to a Wi-Fi network so we can test out a few of the features. So we're going to do that. Oh, actually, as you can see there, before I go and do that, you can see that we have a touch panel keyboard. So we've got all the settings there, and voice and a few other bits and pieces. A reasonably large keyboard, so that's quite cool. Okay, we're just connecting and getting an IP address. There we go, connected. That was very quick at connecting actually, so that's quite good. One thing I will just sort of comment on while I've been just using the keyboard to enter that passphrase there, is the touchscreen isn't quite as sensitive as I would like. You do seem to have to put a reasonable amount of pressure on the screen in order to make it work. Obviously it is capacitive, but it's not a feather-light touch that you have on some other devices. But I mean, that's me being perhaps a little overcritical, but nevertheless you do have to put a little pressure on there to make it work. So let's go into the browser and let's go to our site and take a look at how quickly that loads. Google search it. Well, that's loading very fast. I mean, obviously I do have the benefits of the broadband connection and using Wi-Fi, but even so it loads very quickly, rendered very quickly, and you can double tap to zoom in, double tap to zoom back out. We've got 2-finger scrolling, should turn. Okay, it's not, that's interesting, it's not automatically switching into landscape and portrait modes based upon the orientation of the handset. Perhaps that's might be a setting on this device or something else. Nope, it really doesn't want to do that. Let's take a look. Settings. Nope. Well, I can't see anything in there that's governing that. That's a bit of a shame. But we'll take a look at that later. I'm guessing it must support it. It just must be. I guess perhaps it's just turned off. Anyway, the browser works quite well. It's pretty straightforward and standard browser. I mean, it's nothing particularly fancy or flashy about it, but it did work and load quite quickly. We'll take a quick look at YouTube and search for some of our videos. So we've got LeoD is the alias there. Let's just pick one of these. It doesn't matter which one. It's buffering. It's taking a while. There we go. So it didn't take too long to buffer. And there we do. In here we have. There we go. In here we do have the support for the rotation. That's quite cool. Again, it's the standard implementation or standard YouTube client there, but it works quite nicely. It's one of the. I still think that the YouTube client on Android is definitely the best of all the mobile versions. Going back in here, we can see downloads, camcorder, and a few other things. Email. I'm actually looking for. I can actually get from back over here. Is the Play Store. And use my existing account. Let me just go and sign into that. Okay, just let that sign in. Actually, it's saying it can take a few minutes. Let's hope it doesn't. There we go. Back up. We'll just allow that. So let's go into the Play Store and accept those. And if you've seen my videos before, which I hope clearly you have, you know that what I'm about to do in here is go and grab a copy of Quadrant and install Quadrant, so we can do a very quick benchmark for you. So that's downloading, installing. You can see the notification area at the top there. I've obviously got Google Plus email notification there from Gmail, because signing into the Android store or Play also signs into the actual Gmail account. So there we go, that's installed. From here we can actually open and go OK, and we'll run a full benchmark, which shouldn't take too long. It runs through a few of these tests, CPU test, which is kind of the important one for me to see how well that 1.2 GHz dual core processor will perform. So you see that it's cycling through the various tests. There we go, let's see. There we go, so that's the CPU test, memory test, IO, and obviously then when you get to the 2D and 3D graphics it becomes a little bit more interesting to watch. Here we go. So 60 frames a second there, around 60 frames a second there. That's doing quite a good job, it's performing rather nicely. That was 60 frames a second pretty much all the way through there. And then we've got again, it's claiming around 50 to 60 frames a second, and finally low 50s for there. That brings us almost to the end. So let's see what our results are. So our device there is 2634, and that compares to Galaxy Tab, just under the Galaxy Tab there, a bit higher than the Galaxy Nexus, but obviously the two devices right at the top there are the One X and the Transformer Prime. The One X, though, is streaks out in front, almost twice as fast in terms of benchmark performance. When we do our review, we'll run the benchmark a few more times because, as we found before, those results do vary quite considerably, or can vary quite considerably. So we run it like 10 to a dozen times and take an average when we actually do the benchmark results for the review. I think that covers most of the sort of standard stuff on the handset. So we'll actually put this to one side and we'll actually go and head on and do the review. So this has been the ZTE Grand X, and we'll have a full review for you over the next couple of weeks. In the meantime, if you want to follow us on Twitter, it's twitter.com/TracyandMatt or facebook.com/TracyandMatt.co.uk. If you want to ask us any questions or talk to us about this handset or any other handsets or anything else that we're reviewing, please do so. Drop us a line and we'd be happy to try and answer some questions. Anyway, I'll be back soon with some more videos and reviews on TracyandMatt.co.uk, but for now, thanks for watching.